Oh, who wants to look at the back of my head? Boop, boop. Alright, doing a little light boxing here. Um, yeah, I tend to sketch and sketch and sketch. What I like to do is draw the same thing about 100 times just to see how it feels. Um, there we go. Just to see how it feels. I think this particular one, maybe 10 or 15. And then even as I go, I really into this cubism kind of thing, like just a bunch of hard angles and yeah, but part of the deal is every time I draw it, I do kind of do it a little bit differently. And also, I bet it's really entertaining to look at bright light. Yeah. Let's see if I dip my head. Oh, I think I got that camera angle good enough so that it's not too much of my face in there, which everybody loves. Oh, yeah. And that's, because, yeah, part of the character here is he breaks his arm, and it's always a trick on how to make that look right, yeah, it's a little gory-ish, but that's a little bit of that, do you? Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Oh, but one thing I will see, even though I light box a lot of my stuff, and especially with this, I draw it just a little bit different every time, because it just kind of one of those things where it's a way to make something. I really like the idea of flat, almost like a dollhouse kind of feel in my storytelling and how I run everything. Um, but also, I I, I kind of like some of the modern art, but I want to put a little bit of functionality to it. Like, there's some of this. My mom went to art school when I was a kid, and she studied to be an art teacher. And so there were always art books around the house. And I remember some of the modern art stuff where you might have 3 or 4 like squares, and they're different colors and sizes, and that's it. And it'll look like a bunch of white space or negative space, but it's white, and it's all just kind of hanging out there. And that kind of had an impact on me, seeing that as the first art that I ever come across. And but I'm a functional guy. I'm a kind of hands-on blue collar guy, and so I want there to be a purpose and a form function. And one of the things that I have for a panel, actually, it was my first published work. There's a zine called Media, Crude Media, Crude Zine, and it's one of the things I submitted to them first, where it's kind of a modern art piece where, like imagine the just blank squares. Of course, way to go. Let's talk about something that you don't have readily at hand. Woo. Um. Well, that's kind of a bummer. Let me see. Let me see. Gonna drive myself. Well, first of all, I'm gonna drive myself crazy not knowing where it's at Hawaii's. Um. There. So so the idea is that there's a character kind of being punched, but he's being punched through, and while I'm using a piece of modern art kind of thing, that he's being punched through it, and the idea that it almost looks like dominoes being toppled over, but he's kind of getting punched through this modern art piece kind of thing. So anyway, some of that cubism and abstract stuff really had a big impact on me, and I don't. It's one of those things. It's like I don't know if that's going to translate into, you know, people like it enough to make a living at it, or like, oh wow, let's buy that guy's comic. We like all these squares just piled on top of each other. You know, if he's more talented, if he was more talented, he oh, there we go. And a blank piece of paper. That's nice. So, you know, if he was more talented, he'd put some more dimensions in his artwork. And if I was, maybe I would, but I'm not. So here we are. So, but I guess on top of everything, it just kind of makes me happy, man. Oh, I found it. I found it. Okay, so here's one of the panels. This is one of my first. Okay, so for a draw thing, I got all the angles. I got all the things checked. It's like can't see my face, bad camera angle. Oh man, and then it's nice to have something glowing in your face. But the idea here is like this is kind of a modern art thing with squares and all that stuff, but he's being punched through it. And yeah, I'll give away all my secrets here. So this stuff here, so what I was messing around with some magic markers, and I noticed they were bleeding through everything. And so I did it in the reverse, and then I screw this square piece of paper, and then it's almost a collage thing as well. You can probably see some of the, like this guy right here, you can kind of see, because I copied this and then sent it in. But yeah, it was kind of cool to get published like this. This is my first published piece, and there's a guy with the mohawk getting kind of punched. And but like I like modern art and I like some of that stuff, but I want there to be a little bit of functionality to it. It doesn't appeal to me when somebody puts a bunch of white banners in a park for 2 weeks and then takes it down. I mean, how is that an art display? And I guess in a certain sense, if you create some urgency there where, oh, go see it, go have a walk through it before they take it down, I could kind of see that. But no, I want things that have a little bit of function and purpose to them. And so yeah, that's kind of my, I don't know what you call it, maybe neo-cubism, neo-modern art thing. And like I said, maybe it doesn't transfer to me getting any real work, but dang if it doesn't make me happy to draw. So yeah. And also, I'm down to one of my last sheets of 11 by 17, and this guy right here, he's on the reverse. So this guy's getting up, and I was gonna do kind of an animation, and it, like in my layouts, it looked really slick, but oh boy, this is one of those things. Don't you like? I did my layouts, and the layouts actually ended up looking better than the thing that I want to finish up. So this is the layout for the last page, and yeah. So like that animation thing. So that animation thing kind of worked pretty good right there, but when I put it to paper with all the sharp lines and everything, because it's a sketchy thing, because I'm not putting all the weight down on the pen, and everything's kind of slashy a little bit. It doesn't work too great, but here we are. So that's this guy's on the back. Now I do have one more piece of super clean, completely clean 11 by 17 if I screw this up. But yeah, this last part of the book, I've drawn and redrawn things so many times, and I try not to be obsessive about that sort of thing, but yeah, perfection kills finished work, bro. So draw his fist, and one of the neat things I do like about this style that I'm kind of developing and have developed is that these different flat pieces that I like to use for, so here's kind of a good one. So if you see that, the different flat pieces, they're almost laying on top of each other, almost like how you think about cement slabs on a sidewalk, and how they kind of line up, and that's kind of on purpose, because I don't line up the squares all the time how they should be perfectly. I want them to kind of be a little bit disjointed, so that it's almost like a sidewalk where some of the pieces have started to heave a little bit, and that's deliberate, but believe me, those noises help. making the fist and the wrist. Alright. Now I just switched to these microns. It's kind of a nice change a little bit. I was using G2s for a while, which I still like G2s, but I'm always palming them, and okay, focus. I'm always palming them and smudging them. Boop. Boop. Alright, so back part of his hand here. Alright, man, from the boys right here, bro. Alright, so how did I have that planned originally? Okay. Okay, so the guy's arm is broken. Boop, jagged. 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 Get it lined up. Okay, there we go. Let me get a little more room. Pow. Alright, now I'll go with the super, because he's kind of got some bones hanging out here. Oh, yeah. Getting ahead of myself. Let's draw the bottom part. 003, 03. Where'd my... There we go. Here's a funny story. So my grandpa, super intelligent guy, pretty amazing mechanic. His shop was a mess. I mean, he just had tools laying all over the place. Just piles of everything. But the funny thing is he knew where everything was. And that was, and so Dad and and I'm the same way as Dad. I wish I had a little more grandpa on me. I'm kind of a neat freak. I want to make sure everything is clean as possible, because the cleaner it is, the better you know where everything is and all that. And every time I set something down, if it's not directly in my hand, I cannot see it. It disappears. Oh, don't do that one. But Grandpa, even though everything was a mess, he knew where everything was. Okay, super thin. Quick bat. Oh, there we go. Oh, maybe make that whole thing. Quick bat. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Okay, one more. Okay. And then here's going to be the bone sticking out. Awesome. And then make her a little jaggedy. Oh boy, did I get myself enough room? Okay, good. All right. Okay. So there's an arm. And I think 13 minutes is enough of watch me yakety yak. Yeah, just a little warm up as I'm working on pages. So until next time, keep working the work. Boop!